Rightio, let's now put a wall around our very basic room. I'm going to come over here to the default wall tool, right click on it, and I'm going to select a cobble grey wall here. Now, walls don't need to start all the way on the outside. They don't need to be masked. In fact, it's best if they start on the inside edge. And again, let's turn on our little guides, 10-foot guides, so that you can see that the walls need to start on that X spot there. So I'm going to click, 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 click. Don't need to put a wall across here at this stage. Click, 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 all the way around. Oops. Now, you may be wondering how I'm getting to have my walls lined up so perfectly with the floors, and in fact the floors lined up so perfectly with the grid. It's the magic of your grid and snap settings. If you right click on your grid setting here, you call up the grid and snaps selection tool. I'm using a 5-foot grid matrix, which makes sense because these are battle maps with 5-foot steps. 2 snaps per inch. But these settings are here. These are the settings that really matter. I've got my grid selected on, so I can actually see the little grid points. I've got the snap selected on, which means that when I click on something, it will snap to the nearest grid point. And I've got my cursor snap on, which means that as I move my cursor around the map, it jumps to those locations. These 3 settings are really useful when you're doing battle map mapping. Click on OK, and you can see that my cursor jumps nicely into the locations. I'm going to turn off, or rather I'm going to hide the connector layer for 10 foot. And if we zoom in, we can actually view now that we are well on our way to creating a beautiful looking and very easy battle map. Now I'm going to add a I'm going to put in here a trap, so I'm going to select the trap symbol set, browse down until I find that lovely big pit trap, click on it, drag it into the middle of the room. Now notice that a lot of the Pro Fantasy symbols are actually designed to snap into 5-foot grids by default, so they've already put a lot of thought into their product, which is wonderful. This is a 10-foot wide pit trap, and because I've got my grid snap turned on, it fits perfectly smack bang in the middle of that tile nicely. Right, let's go and just finish up this room very quickly. I'm going to add some additional walls, so we're going to click on the wall function, select the cobblestone walls. I'm going to put a wall across here and a wall across here, but I'm going to leave these 2 open as open hallways. I'm then going to select doorways, and I'll just do a simple closed door. I want a nice metal door. There's one. I'm going to whack a door here, and I'm just going to make sure that I've got smart tracking turned on. Smart tracking is what allows doors to automatically line up and other items automatically line up. So again, right click, make sure that your scale for the symbol that you're adding is 1, smart tracking turned on, and definitely don't have disabled smart symbols like I just had on there, and then the door will snap into place nicely. Excellent. Let's put a couple of lanterns in place. I think that the lanterns are further down here. There we go. It's a nice lantern. Again, because I've got smart tracking turned on, you see how it automatically lines up to the wall. And I'm going to put it on our grid line there, another one there, another one there, and another one there. There we go. So we now have a very simple dungeon room ready to go. I'm now going to save this. I'm going to go save as, and I'm going to put it into a folder, obviously not on my desktop, in my libraries, my documents, It's very important that you organize your work, especially when you're dealing with tiles like this, because you can end up creating many tiles. Maps. I'm going to create a new folder and we'll call it Battle Tiles for Pro Fantasy Tutorials. Nice and descriptive. And rather than calling it the default map, I'm going to call this Pit Trap Room. I also, when I'm naming my battle map tiles, I like to actually put in how many connectors, how many sides are connected, and roughly what size they are. That just helps me when I'm trying to quickly find my battle map tiles for printing. Helps me quickly know what's what. So this is 4 doors, or 4 connections rather, 4 doors, at 10 foot. Click on Save, done. In the next part of the tutorial, I'm going to show you how to print this using a standard color printer and print it beautifully so that each one of these 5-foot grids actually prints to a perfect inch on the paper.